Get out of here. Do you hear me? You waste of space. Officer Damian Vance's furious shout shattered the tense hush of Midland County Courthouse. The slap came next, sickening and sharp. Onlookers gasped as the young woman hit the marble floor, her belongings scattering like shattered dignity. She lay still for a moment, then slowly rose, blood trickling from the corner of her lip. Her eyes didn't show fear, just calculation. No one moved. No one helped. Vance loomed over her, chest heaving, fists trembling. He had snapped. And in that moment, everyone knew it. Evelyn Reed, 32, a sharp-minded architect and small business owner, hadn't expected her afternoon to end this way. All she'd come for was to renew her business license. A minor task after a long week of nonstop work. She wore jeans and a hoodie, barely brushed her hair, and just wanted to get it over with. The courthouse was buzzing with end-of-week energy. 40 minutes in line. When it was her turn, Officer Vance barely looked up before finding a small error on her form. Wrong format, he barked. Slash instead of dash. Application rejected. I can fix it now, she offered, pen in hand. Nope, Vance replied, relishing the power. Come back Monday. It was absurd. She stayed polite, firm. I've waited 40 minutes. I just need a quick correction. That's when the tension began to boil. Vance looked her over with thinly veiled disdain. People like you always want exceptions. People like me? Her tone sharpened. I'm a citizen doing my job. I expect respect. That was all it took. To Vance, a black woman challenging his authority was intolerable. His voice rose. His posture became threatening. Get out before I make you, he hissed. And then she made the move that cracked him. She asked for his badge number. You have no right, he exploded. You're lucky I don't throw you out myself. She took out her phone, calmly, hitting record. That was it. Vance reached across the counter, tried to snatch her phone, missed. Then his hand collided with hers. She stumbled back, phone skidding away. She bent to pick it up, and he hit her. A full swing, fist to cheekbone. The room went deathly silent. Evelyn, still on the floor, reached for her cracked phone and made a call. Julian, she said simply. It's Evelyn. I'm at the courthouse. An officer assaulted me. His name is Damian Vance. Badge 346. Vance, hearing every word, felt something cold crawl up his spine. Who are you calling? He scoffed, but his voice cracked. Your boyfriend. She said nothing, but the certainty in her tone, the calmness, unsettled him. She waited. Minutes passed. Vance paced like a caged animal, muttering to himself, throwing occasional glances at the frozen bystanders. Then came the echo of footsteps that a tall man in a navy suit strode into the hall, flanked by another officer. His gaze swept the room, zeroing in on Vance. Commander Thorne, someone whispered. Vance's heart nearly stopped. Thorne walked past everyone, kneeling beside Evelyn with gentle urgency. Are you hurt? Jesus, did he? I'm okay, she replied, her voice steady. Just a bruise. Thorne stood slowly, turning to Vance, eyes cold as ice. What did you do? Vance stammered, face pale. Sir, she provoked me. She recorded me. I thought she was aggressive. Shut up. 2 words delivered like a final verdict. Thorne nodded to the officer behind him. Get him out of my sight. Now. Handcuffs clicked. I didn't know it was her. Vance blurted in panic as they grabbed his arms. I didn't know who she was. Thorne didn't even look at him. That's the problem, Vance. You don't get to choose who you respect. As Vance was dragged away, the weight of what just happened began to sink in for everyone. But this was only the beginning. As Evelyn stood, dusting herself off, her phone vibrated again. A name flashed. Chief Counsel Logan. She glanced at Julian, who gave her a nod. She picked it up. Yeah, she said softly. Everything's on video. A pause. No, I didn't press charges yet, but I'm not sure that's all we're doing. The story wouldn't end here. Not with video, not with witnesses, and certainly not with who Evelyn really was. Lieutenant Vance, take Officer Vance into custody, Commander Thorne ordered, his voice like a blade. His badge, weapon, radio, strip it all. Effective immediately. Internal Affairs takes over. I want full documentation on my desk within the hour. Yes, sir, Vance responded grimly. 2 officers stepped forward. Stand up, Damian. Damian Vance rose, stiff with shame. His hands trembled as his badge was yanked from his chest, his gun belt removed, and his radio clipped away. It felt like his very identity was peeled off, layer by layer. 22 years reduced to nothing. No more authority, no shield, just a uniformed man exposed by truth. He looked at Evelyn. Tears brimmed in his eyes as he mouthed, "I'm sorry." But Evelyn didn't look at him. Her focus was on Thorne. "I'm so sorry," Thorne said, stepping forward. She didn't waver. "Don't apologize. Fix it." Thorne stopped. Evelyn's voice was no longer shaken. It carried the weight of every woman who'd been dismissed, every injustice ignored. "I want him fired. No suspension, no quiet reassignment. Fired. No pension, no ceremony. And I want a public statement. Name him. Make it clear this won't be tolerated." Thorne nodded. "Agreed. And compensation," she added. "From him, not the department. Let him pay out of pocket. $12,000. Thorne didn't flinch. "You'll have it." She wasn't asking for revenge. She demanded justice. Thorne turned to Lieutenant Vance. "Get her full statement. Interview every witness. This must be clean, airtight. We do this by the book." Vance nodded. "I will." In less than 48 hours, internal affairs moved. Witnesses gave matching accounts. Verbal abuse, threats, the punch. Damian Vance's defense fell apart under the weight of evidence. By the end of the week, Officer Vance was fired. No appeals, no benefits, no pension. Faced with a lawsuit, his lawyer told him to settle quickly. The evidence was devastating and the public scrutiny relentless. To afford the settlement, Vance sold his boat and emptied his savings. The press release was blunt, just as Evelyn demanded. Midland County Police Department terminates officer over assault on civilian. Commander Thorne signed it himself, pledging full cooperation with an external oversight committee and department-wide reform training that a week passed. Evelyn's bruises faded, but the echo of the moment lingered. One evening, she sat next to Thorne on her couch. The silence was thick. Then she asked, "Julian, what if I wasn't your partner?" He turned, already knowing where she was going. "What if I were just some black woman renewing her license? Would anyone believe me? Would he even be fired?" Thorne's silence was answer enough. "I want to say yes," he finally whispered, "but probably not. And that truth shames me." She looked away. "I didn't act because you're my partner," he added. "I acted because you forced me to face what I'd ignored for too long. You didn't let me protect the system. You made me protect the people." She exhaled deeply. "The check arrived today." Thorne nodded. "What will you do with it?" "I'm not keeping it," she said. "I don't want his money. It reeks of hate, but someone else might need it more." The next morning, Evelyn walked into Midland County Legal Aid, a nonprofit that helps victims of law enforcement abuse, and donated the full $12,000. "I want this to help women like me," she told the director. Women without a badge, without someone in command backing them up. The gesture went viral. The story shifted. It was no longer just about a rogue officer. It became about the system that allowed him to act and the woman who refused to let it continue. She didn't smile walking out of that office, but there was something in her stride, firmer, freer. That moment of violence no longer defined her. She had forged it into something greater. Across town, Damian Vance sat alone in his dim apartment, jobless, humiliated. His disgrace was permanent. His face was plastered across news feeds and watchdog articles. The phone never rang. His past allies had vanished. All that remained was silence and regret. He hadn't just struck the wrong woman. He'd exposed the truth of who he was, a man corrupted by unchecked power, now stripped of it. And she showed the world what strength looks like, quiet, unrelenting, and forged in the fire of injustice.